The new Formula One season is but days away, with teams preparing to test out their new chassis, engines and myriad other technical wizardry at the Melbourne Grand Prix circuit in Australia. Much of the attention is focused on the cars and their updated looks for 2018, but there have also been radical redesigns of driver helmets, albeit mainly in the superficial sense. Ahead of Sunday's curtain raiser, Sportsmail takes a look at every helmet on the grid and, as the controversial halos will block views of the drivers during the race, this may be the only chance you get to have a good look. Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes. The four-time world champion goes into this season with "Still I Rise" written across the back, a tribute to a famous Tupac song which matches a tattoo on his back. Rising to another world title this season will put him second on the all-time list alongside Juan Manuel Fangio, but still 2 away from Michael Schumacher's 7. Valtteri Bottas, Mercedes. A second season at Mercedes could be a pivotal one in the career of this highly rated Finnish driver. After a season to settle, he will be expected to challenge his teammate at Mercedes. Bottas has opted for a familiar theme across the grid by incorporating his national colors of blue and white into a stunning design. Sebastian Vettel, Ferrari. There are no prizes for guessing whose helmet this is. Sebastian Vettel's German roots are in full view on this beautifully retro eye helmet. Ferrari's prancing horse features many times alongside Vettel's chosen number 5, which he hopes will correspond with the number of titles he owns at the end of this season. Kimi Räikkönen, Ferrari. A veteran of Formula One now, Kimi Räikkönen has incorporated the blue and white of the Finnish flag alongside the red of Ferrari. The two-time world champion has, unlike his teammate, opted for the more popular Bell helmet, which is strikingly more modern. Fernando Alonso, McLaren. Fernando Alonso may not win a race with McLaren this year, but he certainly wins the award for best-looking helmet on the grid. The classic design incorporates the orange livery of his 2018 car, mixing it with yellow to give it an overall Spanish feel. Stoffel Vandoorne, McLaren. There will be no mistaking the two McLaren drivers this season, with Stoffel Vandoorne opting for a strikingly different design to that of his teammate. The 25-year-old should blend into the orange and black McLaren well with his choice of colors. Daniel Ricciardo, Red Bull. Daniel Ricciardo will be sporting a new title sponsor on the front of his helmet and Aston Martin, but the back is reserved for his own personal touch. The words "Strayamate" and his typical honey badger remain. The African animal may not be native to Australia, but their famed ferocity is something Ricciardo is hoping to embody. Max Verstappen, Red Bull. Max Verstappen appears to have been happy to pluck his helmet off the shelf this season, with only his chosen number 33 serving to distinguish it. The Dutchman also has his name in a small font on the side, but it seems he was more focused with improving his driving skills than designing a unique lid. Sergio Perez, Force India. Sergio Perez shows he is keeping up with the kids by including his Instagram and Twitter handles on his strikingly pink helmet. The Mexican has finished 7th in the world title standings in each of the last 2 seasons and will be hoping to mix it with the big boys this time around. Esteban Ocon, Force India. Esteban Ocon has opted for a strikingly similar design to his teammate, although there are plenty more references to their engine partner AMG Mercedes on this one. There is also a picture of a driver celebrating on the back, but as Ocon has never won or even stood on the podium in F1, we're not too sure who it is an image of. Carlos Sainz, Renault. Carlos Sainz pays homage to his Spanish heritage with the national colors running down either side of his helmet. The Estrella sponsor also falls in line with this patriotic driver. Having started last season at Toro Rosso before switching to Renault, this will be his first full season with the team. Nico Hülkenberg, Renault. The Hulk returns to the F1 grid for an 8th season, but still looking for a car capable of winning, or even coming second. Hülkenberg finished 10th in his first season with Renault last year, but will need to improve with Sainz pushing for an unofficial number 1 spot within the team. Lance Stroll, Williams. The Canadian teenager impressed in his debut F1 season with Williams last year as he scored 40 points and even bagged a podium. Still only 19 years old, Stroll obviously feels like he has a bit of work to do before he can start demanding a unique helmet design. Sergei Sirotkin, Williams. After long being a test and reserve driver for other teams, Russian Sergei Sirotkin will finally get the chance to drive in Formula One. The 22-year-old, like Stroll, has little to differentiate his helmet from the car he will be driving, so will need to make an impact in some other way. Romain Grosjean, Haas. A helmet for a French driver if ever you saw one. Romain Grosjean has incorporated his national colors into a striking design ahead of his 7th season on the grid. The former Lotus driver finished 13th last season with 28 points, and little is expected of Haas ahead of the new season. Kevin Magnussen, Haas. Magnussen has opted to include his national colors of Denmark into his design, helping to differentiate it from his teammates. The 25-year-old will be starting his fifth season on the F1 grid and his second with Haas. He scored 19 points last season and finished 14th. Marcus Ericsson, Sauber. Marcus Ericsson may have failed to score a single point in the last two F1 seasons, but the Swede is still beaming with national pride. The Swede continues with Sauber for a fourth campaign along with new title partner Alfa Romeo. Having finished dead last in 2017, things can only get better. Charles Leclerc, Sauber. A new face for the 2018 season, Charles Leclerc joins Sauber after storming to the FIA Formula 2 championship title last season. Much is expected of the 20-year-old from Monaco in the future, although he will do well to show his potential with his current team. Pierre Gasly, Toro Rosso. The fresh-faced Frenchman gets his first proper seat in F1 after starting 5 races for Toro Rosso as a reserve last season. Gasly's national colors are included in a futuristic-looking lid, which will include his name on the side. Brendan Hartley, Toro Rosso. At 28 years old, a first seat in F1 has been a long time coming for Hartley. He started 4 races last season and obviously did enough to earn himself a place. The New Zealander pays homage to his country with the flag's stars on the side, but it is otherwise a more generic design befitting of his Toro Rosso car.